name is Adrian Navarre. I'm the CEO and founder of Ticker Trends. Before I get into the main topic of this video, I do want to say that if you're interested in what I talk about on my channel, on the topics that I make videos about, we are hiring for some positions. So if you are a software engineer, if you're technical, if you're very skilled in mathematics, in financial markets, in quantitative trading, in modeling and machine learning, but definitely computer science. If you're super fascinated by computer science and you like the topics that I talk about on my channel, reach out to me, admin@tickertrends.io. I will also leave the email in the description below. And I'm very confident that if you're someone who's very smart, motivated, interested in things that I talk about, then we could potentially work together. And then now I'll talk about why I started the intro with that. So I like to keep this channel kind of as a vlog or diary of things that I've learned in business and the different stages of the business that I've gone through as I've grown Ticker Trends. In the past couple of months, a lot of things have changed and progressed, and I wanted to talk about that and some of the most interesting aspects of what we've done. I guess the first starting point is the inflection point of the business. I might have talked about this in a couple of my past videos, but Ticker Trends really hit an inflection point in the business as soon as we made some pivots which really resonated with our customers and our clients that we were targeting at Ticker Trends. Ticker Trends, if you're not familiar, is a business where we take a bunch of alternative data, so a bunch of things that consumers are talking about or interested in online, and convert that into actionable financial market information. When we first started Ticker Trends, what I hadn't realized is I first thought, well, if you could just aggregate all of this data in one place, then that would be a really cool product. Then when I created that product, I realized actually the value that people want is not just the aggregation of all this cool information in one place, but also the synthesis of that information into very valuable insights in a very fast way. So Ticker Trends has transitioned many times through all of its pivots from first a data business and a data platform, just looking at some raw data sets and aggregating those data sets in one place, then now into almost something that I would call more of an engine, where I almost consider Ticker Trends to be a forecasting engine. So what that means is Ticker Trends can take as many disparate data sets as possible and output very complex relationships and interesting insights across those different data sets into, in this current moment, actionable financial market information. So it's been a really interesting journey to realize the different aspects of the business that are most important to different customers and client bases. And I think that Ticker Trends has such an opportunity to grow into many more markets than what we're focusing on right now. I think there's this interesting scaling idea in business, which is first you want to specialize on a specific customer, which can allow you to build that infrastructure and moat that will cause no one else to be able to compete with the exact product that you've created. I think at Ticker Trends, we've created a product that is so unique and has so much unique infrastructure that would take such a long time for anyone else to even, virtually replicate, even if they could understand everything that we've done. There's so much infrastructure and technology and data, and there's so much that goes into Ticker Trends that I think the moat we've created is quite significant, and it's only getting more significant every single day. And I think that's why in these data businesses, there starts to be this consolidation towards the top of, like, the top data companies just get better and better because it's very hard for any small data business to compete with them unless they're like us and they create a completely new product or a new market for themselves where we're not necessarily competing with X, Y, and Z, but there are some businesses which are a little similar to us, but they don't do exactly what we do. And so I think that's what's been really interesting about this business is as we've gotten bigger, I've gotten more and more confident that no one else can replicate anything remotely close to what we're doing. And then also it's transitioned from this idea of, hey, we're just collecting all of these interesting data sets into actually now most of our infrastructure is not just aggregating those data sets, but I think we created a really solid foundation with that, which is we created an amazing system where we can take like any any data set, and integrate it very quickly into all of our systems, or collect it very quickly into all of our systems. And then the second we get this data and put it into our systems, now it's embedded across all of our modeling and insight tools to where we can take any data set, plug it into Ticker Trends, and then make our forecasts better, make our insights better, make our alerts better, basically we've built this tool where you can take any of these data sets and just make it super valuable in financial markets very, very easily. And so there's been this massive payoff in the infrastructure that Ticker Trends has built, which is we have all this amazing scalable infrastructure for data set ingestion, and we have all of this amazing scalable infrastructure for using that data and modeling with that data. And that's like the modeling engine. And so when I first started the business, we were building out this scalable infrastructure for collecting the data. Now, as we've scaled, we've built out this scalable infrastructure for modeling with the data. And so what's happened is, as we've built up the two sides of this business, both things have kind of played off of each other, where each side just makes the other one even better. So as we built up the modeling and the insights that come from the data, we kind of get more resources, we can invest in more data sets. Now it's so easy to plug in these new data sets that the second we plug in these new data sets, it makes our modeling much, much better. Now our modeling is so much better than everyone else that we can just plug in another data set, and it can scale and kind of improve very quickly. So I guess you can get at kind of where my excitement comes from in this business. And then I think beyond financial markets, that was our initial niche target, and it still is our target for the time being. But I think long term, with this basis of what we've created, I really view it as something that can model out many interesting things that we haven't even scratched the surface of. One of which, just to get the idea going, would be things in private markets. I think Ticker Trends is just so amazing at understanding the performance of virtually anything in public markets, that we are going to be able to enter into private markets and have a very unique product in terms of tracking, identifying, and modeling lots and lots of information in private markets that is currently very, very low visibility, let alone are there any products that even offer any level of insights similar to what we have. And then I think the step beyond that is also B2B, working with kind of sales and marketing teams and businesses themselves to understand what they should be purchasing, or what new products they should be launching, what marketing campaigns they should be doing. We've created this amazing intelligence layer, which is currently being applied to financial markets, but there's so many other applications which I have zero doubt we will be able to tackle as the business scales and as we get more resources. So that was kind of just some of my train of thought. And then I think something else that's been really fun about being at this point with Ticker Trends is the challenge has shifted from initially when I started Ticker Trends. The challenge was, how can I find product market fit? And that was a really scary challenge, because I had to keep trying new things until something really started to take off. And so finding product market fit is hard, and I think it's not a one-step process. It's not just you found product market fit, now you're done innovating and you just make that one thing better. I definitely think part of what we do is we are always innovating in addition to making our existing things better. And it's been so cool to have this business where now we have a platform with many, many customers where we can launch a new idea, which I know maybe a year ago, that new idea would have had zero traction. But because we have this customer base of people that think in a similar way to us, we can do these cool projects and have people care about it and also appreciate it. And so it's really awesome to have this kind of launch pad where when you have a business with customers and they all want similar things, they'll really appreciate those features and ideas that you have, which maybe on their own wouldn't be able to drive the product to becoming valuable. But when your product is already valuable, they actually really like and are interested in those things that you're building. But I think it's been interesting to transition from this mindset of survival and pivoting and constantly questioning every product decision that you've made into then improving your existing product and iterating on that product that you know works really well. And then also scaling from the point of risk taking, because I think there was also this dynamic when I was growing the business early on of, hey, if we hire this additional person, if we take on this new data set, then this is a big risk, which if it doesn't pay off in the next couple of months, maybe the business would start to run out of money unless it had some incremental benefit to revenue. And so it was kind of, even in the way of spending, it was a constant question of survival. And I think what's been interesting is also transitioning in terms of business growth from that survival mindset, even in hiring and product development, to, okay, actually, even though we're making more revenue now, it's still a similar idea of like, how fast are we going to scale up operations and costs with that revenue? And what's so interesting is, as we scale up that revenue, ideally the likelihood that we keep growing that incremental revenue with more costs kind of scales with us. But I think that's the fear that you start to have, which is you transition from, can I survive, to, okay, we're surviving, but I want to balance being super aggressive with making everything as good as we can as fast as possible, while also, in case there's some slowdown for whatever reason. And I think in the case of our business, it's very easy what that slowdown could be, which is we're so concentrated on financial markets. If there was a recession in the US, then our sales might slow down just because hedge funds and asset managers are going to have less capital to allocate to products like ours. So I think there's this, in the back of my mind, there's this balance, which is I want to be as aggressive and scale this up as much as I can as fast as possible. But also I need to be prepared and have a plan if something like that were to happen, so that the business would still thrive, and not just survive, but thrive, would still grow. And so I think that's been a really interesting mindset shift, and it's been very exciting for me to try to tackle as I've gone through this. But overall, I think kind of the point of this is that, number one, we're growing and we're hiring. And so if you're interested in anything similar to what I'm doing or what we're working on, then I want to work with you. And I can guarantee that if you have a similar mindset to me in terms of you're interested in asset management, you're interested in quantitative finance, you're interested in alternative data, you're a software engineering nerd, you're a mathematics or statistics nerd, or if you're interested in any of these things, then I can virtually guarantee you that working at Ticker Trends will be more valuable to you, more exciting, have more upside, and then also just be really, really fun in terms of working with a group of younger people in a smaller team, which is growing at a kind of exciting point in the business. So I hope that I can continue to make some of these vlog videos on what's happening with Ticker Trends in the business, and kind of have the journey unfold on this YouTube channel over time. And of course, I'll leave my email in the description below if you're interested in reaching out for whatever reason. I've met a lot of really interesting people from my YouTube channel, so that's why I always want to continue to make videos kind of no matter what. And I'll see you very soon, I'm sure, when I have more updates, but also I'm going to try to make more interesting technical videos on any interesting information that I've learned. I think what's really cool is whenever I don't work on something for a while, like on my YouTube channel, if I haven't posted a video for a while, I have so many ideas from things that I've learned since that time of videos that I could make. So I think over time, as I have more or less free time, I'll just be able to hopefully make so many interesting videos on things that I've learned, and I'm really excited for that, and to kind of continue to both expand my own horizons and learning new things, and then making videos about that and being the only person to kind of talk about it on YouTube, and continuing that into the future. So I'll see you soon.